This book is all about hedgehogs, and it's written by Louise and Richard Spilsbury. This is a non-fiction book. Lots and lots of facts about hedgehogs. Here we go. Let's start to read. So what are hedgehogs? Hedgehogs are small mammals that are covered in spines. Adult hedgehogs have about 5,000 spines on their sides and their back. They have short brown hair on their bellies. It says here each spine on a hedgehog's body is 2 to 3 centimetres long. The spines are special, hard, prickly hairs. I wonder if you could measure 2 to 3 centimetres. Hedgehogs have short ears, a short tail and a long pointed nose. An adult is usually about 20 to 30 centimetres long, and 30 centimetres is the length of one of our long rulers. Maybe you'd like to measure how long or how big a hedgehog might be. Hedgehogs got their name because they're often seen under the hedges, and they sometimes squeal like a hog or a pig. Where do they live? Many hedgehogs live in parks and gardens. Hedgehogs live where they can find plenty of food and where there are plants to hide amongst. In Britain, some hedgehogs live in woods, hedges and farmland. This is the map of the United Kingdom here that we talk about in geography. We've got England here and we're all the way down here. Hedgehogs live all the way around the United Kingdom, and here is Northern Ireland across the water. So hedgehogs do not like to live in places where there is nowhere for them to hide. There are no hedgehogs on moorland or in wide open fields, but they are found all over the United Kingdom, but just not in those specific areas of the United Kingdom. What hedgehogs eat? Hedgehogs usually feed on insects, earthworms, caterpillars, slugs and snails. Sometimes they eat fruit that has fallen to the ground. The hedgehog here is eating a worm. Poor worm. Hedgehogs catch food with their mouths and they chew it using their 36 small, sharp teeth. They have more teeth than we do at our age growing up. They usually make a lot of noise while they eat their food. They are very noisy eaters, it says here, especially when crunching snail shells. This hedgehog, look at his little tongue there and his little nose, he's actually eating a snail shell. A snail inside. So finding food. We do not often see hedgehogs, they only come out to find food at night. Hedgehogs are nocturnal. And this is a word we've used before in our science lessons and when we've talked about animals. Nocturnal means that they move around and look for food at night time. They are busiest after it has rained because that is when the slugs and worms come out. Hedgehogs do not see very well. They use their sense of smell and hearing to find food in the dark. Now, senses is something that we've done in school. Talked about our senses of hearing, seeing, feeling. Hedgehogs often go with the same path each night to find food, and they make little tracks on the ground, so they snuffle and smell their way around. On the move. They are quite fast actually. I had some in my garden. They were faster than I thought. Hedgehogs have quite long legs for their body size. They can run quite fast and can climb over low walls. They even swim when they need to. It says here, a fact, when a hedgehog runs, it holds its legs straight. It also keeps its body off the ground. Look at their little paw prints here. Most of the time, hedgehogs shuffle along with their bodies close to the ground. They stop often to sniff the air using their sense of smell again. They travel up to 2 kilometres a night searching for food. Now that's quite far. That's quite a good walk for you and I. So a little hedgehog with little legs, that would be quite a big walk for them to do. They have 5 toes on each foot. but their footprints only show 4 because one toe is small and high up on the foot, so it doesn't make an impression in the mud. Maybe you'd like to look out for some when it's been raining. You might be able to see some hedgehog footprints. Resting and sleeping. Hedgehogs rest during the day. They usually sleep in the hedges, bramble bushes, or amongst other plants. They like quiet places where other animals cannot easily see them. Now, I've made a hedgehog house with my son Daniel, and I'll be showing you that later. But they also just like to curl up on leaves and moss too, if they don't have hedgehog houses built for them. This hedgehog is resting among the leaves. It is well hidden. It's camouflaged, isn't it? So we use that word, camouflage. Hedgehogs rest and sleep in the same place for a few days. Then they move on and find another place to rest in the daylight. Now, hibernation we've talked about in our science for our animals. And hedgehogs usually hibernate in winter. They sleep in a special nest, they call it a nest, all day and night. Their heartbeat slows down and their bodies go cold to save their energy. Hedgehogs sometimes wake up during their hibernation to find food and water, and they often build a new nest somewhere else. That looks very cute, doesn't it? A sleeping hedgehog rolled up in the leaves. Hedgehog nests have a wall of grass and leaves, about, as another measurement for maths here, 10 centimetres thick. So that's possibly about the size of a pencil. Can you see how big my hand is here? So that's 10 centimetres. So try and find a ruler and see if you can measure how big their nest would be. It burrows inside and turns round and round to form a cosy nest. Now, hedgehogs, as I know, because I've had hedgehogs in my garden, they do make quite a lot of noise at night. Hedgehogs are usually silent, but they use sounds to tell each other things. They make lots of different sounds, including puffs, grunts, snorts, coughs, and screams. When a hedgehog is in danger, it may squeal like a pig. If another animal comes close, it may puff and sniff sharply. Sleeping hedgehogs often snore. Do you have anyone that snores in your family? Hedgehogs make a quiet purring sound when something interests them, like this garden rake. I think the ones in my garden didn't like next door's cat. I think that's why they used to make a lot of noise. A hedgehog's year. In summer there are more hedgehogs about than in winter. Hedgehogs have their young babies in the summer. It is warm then, and there are lots of insects and slugs for those babies to eat. Young hedgehogs start to hibernation later than the adults. This gives them more time to eat lots of slugs and snails to get fatter to hibernate. So hedgehogs, there's that word again here, hibernate, between November and April. They eat as much as they can from May to October. They need to store enough fat to live on when hibernating and resting, giving their bodies a rest before it gets warm again. And that is the end of the Hedgehog book. There are lots more books in this series for badgers and blackbirds if you want to try and find those online. We can't visit libraries at the moment. So I hope you enjoyed that Hedgehog book, and you can see what we've been busy making in the garden. Daniel and I are going to make a home for a hedgehog under the hedge in our front garden. That's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? Hopefully we'll have some hedgehogs that might hibernate in there, and we might be able to video some of their nightly activities. We haven't been lucky enough to do that yet, but we might pop in an update just in case we get any footage. But here goes. Here we got some things together in the garden. Wood, tiles and bricks. We found a cosy spot in the bottom of the hedge. Next we put a couple of bricks on top of each other on each side to make it level. We had to measure enough room to get the hedgehog in and out at his home. We put a tile on the top with some more wood to make it nice and secure. We then made a little name plaque with Harry's hole so that it had a proper house. This is our completed hedgehog house with a little stick over the entrance. When the stick falls, it means that we've had a visitor. As yet, we haven't. Okay, so as we're learning all about our hedgehogs, that book there, I thought we could try a little bit of craft. If you get a piece of paper and draw a little snuffly nose, that's what they use their senses to snuffle around to get their worms and snails, and then we do a pointed shape. Can you see this is starting to form the pointy shape of the hedgehog? I'm going to do an eye now. What I do with my eyes is I nearly do a circle. It's nearly a circle, but then I put a triangle inside, and then I only colour in. It looks a little bit like a C. Can you see that on there? And that makes the eye a little bit more realistic. Then I'm going to put a squiggly line all the way down, and I'm just going to put a line all the way round and across. And then hedgehogs have little feet, don't they? You can do the 5 toes if you wanted on there. What I'm also going to do is I've got some leaves from the garden, so it might be that I want to make these quite spiky, and you can do these in autumn time as well, and you can glue these leaves on and make a hedgehog. You could also do birds this way, and other animals if you wanted to. Just draw a very simple outline that we've just done there, and we'll put one more spike up there, and it sort of looks like a spiky hedgehog. I hope you've enjoyed learning as much about hedgehogs as I have. Bye!